Hello everybody, welcome back to another Expeditions Guide. Today we're going to be going around the Wahweap Bay map and collecting all the upgrades. This is going to be a long one. These upgrades are not easy to get at all, and you'll see why when we get to the upgrades. So I have a fleet of 4 trucks on the map. I've got the Loadstar, the Hornet, the Scout 800, and the Zero. So we're going to be starting from the eastern outpost here with the Loadstar and the Hornet, gathering 2 upgrades, and we're going to swap over to the Scout and the Zero and gathering the others. So here's what we're going to be, and this looks like a mess because it is. The first thing we're going to do is make our way down here, and the first upgrade we're going to get is over here. After that, we're going to, because I'm going to drop the trucks off here, and we're going to make our way over here to this final upgrade with these 2 trucks, and then we're going to jump over here. We're going to bring both trucks down the mountain, go grab this one, and that one, and then we're going to make our way all the way back across the map to grab this upgrade. And then we're going to climb the mountain and get the final upgrade. The thing with the upgrades on this map, they're all very solid upgrades. They're very good upgrades. They are awful to get to. And you will see why when we get started. So let's go ahead and begin. First thing we're going to do is start with the Loadstar. And the first upgrade we're heading to is an upgraded engine for the Yar, the Pug, and the Tatra 805. So we're going to go ahead and leave the base here. And we're going to go ahead and just follow this ridge line here. And we're just going to follow my marks. I'll talk about the route we're taking. But we're going to be doing a lot of truck swaps, different routes and planning. And we're going to be bouncing all over the map so we can get all these upgrades for you. And you should be able to do the same. Bring in 4 scout vehicles of your choice out to this map, or just vehicles in general, whatever you feel like driving. I should also note, I believe there's going to be 1 bridge we're going to be building, and a couple we're going to be crossing. Most of these bridges you should have if you've done a good portion of Wahweap Bay already. In addition to that, every single one of these scouts has a set of anchors on them. And let me tell you, you are going to want these anchors. There's a couple of upgrades, one at least in particular, that is completely inaccessible without an anchor to pull yourself up a ridge. Unless you use just like some crazy truck, maybe the Action or something. But I'll make sure we point that one out when we get to it. So this is a tough one. And I have tried my best to formulate the most efficient route to get these upgrades for you guys, so I hope you guys enjoy it. But anyway, once we make our way down to this lower level here, we're going to follow this path over, and we're going to find another drop down that we'll be able to use. So we're just making our way over here, and this is going to be our drop down that we'll use. We want to make sure we get a good angle going down here. We don't want any of these trucks to flip over. Damage is okay. Flipping the trucks over is not. Once we get down the hill, we're going to head to the left here. We're just going to follow this path along this ridge line. Over here we got this nice crack in the ground. We're going to follow this over on the left side. And I do apologize if there's any drop in video quality for this one. For some reason, anytime you load 3 or 4 trucks onto a map, there's just some weird frame rate issues. A lot of people have reported this, I've seen. So if the video looks a little bit jittery, that is a-okay. So we're going to go ahead and make our way down this climb here. And this is where we're going to split our fleet up a little bit. So I'm going to shut the Loadstar down, and we're going to go ahead and drop into the Hornet, and we're going to go get that engine upgrade. I try not to drop 4 trucks into a map unless I absolutely have to, and this is one of those where it just, for what we're doing, it's way more efficient to have 4 trucks on the map. So we're going to cross that bridge. If you don't have that bridge built, it is 75 parts. And we're just going to go ahead and make our way across the swamp here. And where we're trying to get to is that big plateau right ahead of us there. We got to climb on top of it. Now this one, I was able to get to it without an anchor, but it might be a little bit difficult to get to without an anchor, so, you know, we may need to put an anchor down when we approach this one. But we'll see what happens when we get there. For now, just make sure you do have a snorkel on your vehicle, because some of this water is pretty deep. It's not super muddy down here, but it is a little deep water. I'm trying to stick to these shallow spots as much as I can here. And once we get across, we're going to go ahead and make our way up the hill. We're going to stay to the right side because there's a big crevice right there. We want to go up this way and around these rocks. And here is our climb. So we're going to stay on the right side here. Make our way up. I'm just going to climb right up here. And we're going to go right up past this tree. And over here is going to be the engine. So that is the Azov AM4V160. That is for the Collie Pug, the Tatra 805, and the Yar. So there you go. That's the first engine. The next one we're going to go after is a very important upgrade in Expeditions, and that is the Advanced Winch for the Scouts. So let's go ahead. We're going to drop back into the Loadstar here, and we're going to go get the Advanced Winch. The Advanced Winch is your best winch in the game for your scouts, because not only are all winches autonomous for the scouts, which is super handy, because if you flip over, you can kind of just pull yourself over. But on top of that, the Advanced Winch combines the properties of the extended winch and the high power winch. So not only do you get a super long winch cable, but you also get the added power that comes with it. So this is that bridge I was talking about we're going to build. So this is 75 parts. We're going to go ahead and build this bridge so we can get across. Let's get lined up right. And we're basically just going to follow this ridge line. I'll show you where we're going here again. We're going to follow this ridge line, do a little island hopping, come up here, and then grab the upgrade on the south end of the map. Right here, we're just going to kind of navigate over the rocks. And over here, we're going to jump down. Follow this over. We're going to dip down into the water for just a moment. Climb up over here on the left. We're gonna climb up. We're not going to fall in the little pit there. We're going to climb up. Over here, we're going to go right in between the trees. And then up over here, we're going to just dip down. And then we're going to follow this path in between these giant rocks here. And this is going to get us all the way down to the lake shore. So we're going to go ahead and zip around here. And then we're going to cross, trying our best to go around the massive rocks. Once we get across that, we're going to use this path to get up onto the center of this island. I'm just going to climb on up here. And then head to the right here to climb all the way up to the top level. And then we're going to make our way over to that cluster of trees. Go ahead and jump right down. We're going to go right in the middle of these trees here. And then zip all the way around them to the left here. And we're going to head right for that little pass through the rocks. And then we're going to follow this path all the way down to the shore again. You can see I have a bridge up ahead there. Like I said, if you don't have this bridge as well, that is another 75 spare parts. So we're going to go ahead and zip across the bridge and onto another island. To get across this island, we're going to go up through the center here. There's an airdrop there if you feel like you need supplies. I'm pretty good on resources at the moment, so we're not going to bother with that. And we're going to go around these rocks. This is a tough ford. You're definitely going to want to use a heavier truck like the Loadstar to get across this. I was able to get across this with the Scout 800, and it just barely held on. I had to winch onto one of the branches. And I went through there one time with the Marshall, and it just floated away. So definitely want to make sure you have a heavier truck going through that river crossing. Anyway, once we get over to the other side, we climb over this branch. And we're going to go ahead and make our way down the shore. And right here, we're going to climb up past the trees. We're just going to kind of zigzag through these rocks as we make our way up onto this little higher area. Yeah, once we get over here, we're going to climb on up. We're just going to zip around here and go up past this rock. And now it's pretty much a straight shot over to the upgrade, which is right down in that little pit. You go right around this tree and drive on down, and there you have it. That is the advanced winch, and like I said, it is for your scouts. It only lists like 5 trucks here, but let me tell you, it is for every single scout in the game. It is a fantastic must-have upgrade. Those winches are incredible. Alrighty. Next up, we're going to jump into the Zero, and we're going to make our way over to the lift kit. This is for the Yar 805 and the Loaf, and that is going to be right here. This is a very difficult one to get to. It's not super far from the base, so it's pretty easy to get to. But once you get to where it is at, it is very difficult to actually get to it. And we're going to get to it, and we're going to get down from it and head over to another upgrade afterwards. So enjoy. It's going to be an adventure. We also have to manage to get both of these trucks down the hill. So I may do them one at a time. We'll see. I think trying to winch one of these vehicles down the climb is a recipe for disaster. So we're probably just going to leave it. I was thinking about just leaving the vehicles at the bottom of the hill, but I'm seeing this now in second thought, and I'm like, I think I'll just leave one of the vehicles parked at the top of the hill. I think that'll probably be better. So yeah, we're going to leave the scout right up here. That's going to save a little bit of time swapping to the other vehicle. I have a feeling trying to take both of these down the hill at once is going to be a disaster. So I'm going to leave the scout here, and we're going to make our way down this wonderful descent. It's hard enough as it is with one vehicle. Once we get down here, we're going to make our way over to the right. And that's going to get us another climb down. And we're going to head over to the left. And we want to go right in between these rocks here. Now this is probably the hardest part here. So we got to kind of zigzag through these rocks. So we're going to be using a lot of brake. Just kind of slow rolling here. All the way around here. There we go. Alternatively, and I've done this a few times, you can just, kind of barrel down the cliff and winch yourself over with one of the trees if you'd like. That's probably the more fun way to do it. But I am showing you that it is actually very easy to get down there without doing any damage on your vehicles. Whether that's more fun or not, that's entirely up to you. Alright, so once we get past that dead tree, we're going to make our way over to the right here. We're going to head up through these rocks here. And we're going to make our way over to that little pass through the ridges there, but that is not where we are headed. And we're actually going to head right over to the left here onto this very, very sketchy looking shelf. We're just going to climb up these rocks. Climb over these rocks. And luckily, there's a tree there if you need it. Just use it right here. And let's go ahead and grab this. This is going to be a lift kit for the Thatcher, the Conloaf, and the R87. So that is a fantastic upgrade. It gives you a ton more ground clearance with those vehicles. Let me get turned around here, and we'll talk about where we're going next. Alright, so the next upgrade we're heading to is the Large Emergency Reserve, and this is used for the Loadstar, the Thatcher 805, and the Conloaf. So we're basically going to be following this path over here, and then making our way down into this valley, cross over here. Oh, I don't know why I did that. And then we're going to kind of zigzag our way up this mountain. This final climb right here is where you're absolutely going to need a winch to get up. And I will show you why when we get there. But that is where we're going next. So first thing we got to do is get back over these rocks. Without falling. I may be in trouble here. Hold on. Help me, tree. Okay, let's try that again. There is no good way off of this. Let's try one more time. So we're going to climb over this rock here. Climb over these rocks, not to the side of them. Grab that tree, kind of pull us going in the right direction. There we go. Alright, yeah, that one is awful to get to, and it's even worse trying to get away from it. So that's why I try to point these out to you guys. Because it's one thing to know where an upgrade is, but it is a completely other thing to know exactly what conditions you're going to be facing when you're trying to get to the upgrade. So. Alright, so we're going to make our way around here. We're going to head down over to this far side. And right here, we're going to climb up. We're going to follow this path down. Once we get down here, we're going to make our way up the left side around the hill. We're going to make our way off to the right here and get kind of in the middle. And then we're going to head up onto this left shelf. Right up here. Go around that crack in the ground. To get down here, we're going to head to the right, go right around the trees, and then down to the left, down the middle here, and we're going to go ahead over to the right here. We're going to get down into the mud a little bit. We're going to go up here around the big rock, and then over here we're going to head back down into the mud. So we're going to go ahead and follow this all the way down. And this is where we start zigzagging. So we're going to go ahead and climb up onto this ledge. Climb up over here. Make our way up over here. We're going to stay to the left side here. Not on these rocks, but we'll stay up on the left side here. Again on the left side. We're going to kind of bounce around a little bit as we get traction on these ledges. And we're going to follow this one down. And here's going to be another steep climb. This one we're going to kind of zig around from left to right. And we got to watch out for this tree branch, because if you get on that tree branch, it can flip you over. So we're going to try to stay to the left of the tree branch. Let's get off of it. Follow this around. And this final climb here is the one I mentioned you're going to want to have an anchor for. Just because you can look at the sheer steepness of this. It's like climbing up a vertical wall. So I'm going to put an anchor down right here. We're going to grab onto that. And that is just going to pull us right up here with no problems whatsoever. So once that's done, we're going to head up and to the left. And here is your wonderful upgrade. So that is the Emergency Reserve L. Like I said, that is for the Loadstar, the 805, and the Con Loaf right there. Alright, the next upgrade we're going to go after is the UAD3 tires. These are used for a bunch of trucks. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our Scout 800. And this is the route we're going to be taking. We're going to take this all the way down through the swamp, across the river, kind of bounce through some islands, head on up over here, and we're going to make our way into this little spot right here. But the first thing we need to do is make our way down this hill again. And we're going to use the same strategy as before, just kind of watch our speed. And we're going to head to the right and then to the left. And yeah, we're going to use a lot of brake here. So we got to kind of zigzag around these rock shelves. There we go, all the way down. And this time we are going to head to the left. So once we head to the left, we're going to make our way over to this little lake. And we're going to go ahead and cross it. And while we cross this, we're going to be looking for all those wonderful low spots. Give us the most traction, quickest way through here. And from here, we're going to just dart across. And we're going to make our way up the hill here. Just going to bounce straight over here and head down into this little gorge. Here we're going to go right in between these trees. I'm going to follow this little mud puddle here. And over on the side of this cliff, we're going to go right to the left here. Kind of right where these plants are is where we're going to be able to climb up here. Go around this rock, and we want to be all the way to the left side climbing up this ledge. Wow, this game is beautiful. I'm just like, yeah, I just really appreciate it. You get those shots like that. It's just like, oh man, that looks so good with the way the sun was shining. Anyway, we're going to go over this way, and we're going to head down towards that tree. We're going to go around the left side of the tree. And from here, we'll be able to make our way down. Right here. And we're going to follow the ledge all the way down. Follow this all the way down into the water. And from here, we're just going to kind of follow the water for a little bit. It's not like super muddy or anything. You can just kind of drive on the edge here for a little bit if you don't feel like driving all the way in the water. As you can see, it's not slowing me down at all. We're just going to continue to follow the water here. And now we're going to do a little island hopping. So we're going to stay all the way to the right here. Kind of go around these big rocks. And this one we're going to kind of cross over into the middle here. Make our way up onto this little small island. And then we're going to go up the coast of this island. And right over here is going to be another one of those bridges I was talking about. Once again, if you're missing any of these bridges, there's 75 spare parts. But if you've done quite a bit of Wahweap Bay up until this point, most of these bridges you should have built, because these are all like primary routes back and forth across the map. We're going to make our way right through the middle here. Follow the coastline up. And we got one more little ford to cross. And for those of you that really like when I drive through the water, there's going to be more water driving coming up. So we're not by any means done with the water yet. So we're going to go ahead and climb up on the left side here. And go through this little puddle. And we're going to use the tree to pull us up this ledge. And then we're going to make our way up this hill. And now we got some flat ground, so we can kind of do a little cruising here. Cruise right off the ledge. I spoke too soon, didn't I? And that is why I bring anchors. A rock almost slipped me again. Yeah, I got ahead of myself because we spent this whole video so far doing a whole bunch of delicate driving. And I was like, oh, we can get cruise here. Nope. Oh well. Gotta have some fun once in a while, right? Of course. Everyone likes driving recklessly. It's fun. Please do not drive recklessly on real roads. But here within Expeditions, feel free to drive as safely or as recklessly as you want. Alright, so we're going to make our way up this hill. As you can see, we're mostly just following the path. There's like a dirt path that kind of zips through a majority of this half of the map. But we're going to get off of that and jump down into this little like gorge here. Climb up here. Come on, I know you can do that. There we go. Thank you, Scout. And look at that. It's already turning into dark. Nighttime action here. I will be skipping the nighttime once we get to this upgrade so you guys can see better. And here we are. We're just going to drive right on over to the upgrade. And there you go. Those are the UAD 3 tires for the S1960, the Loadstar, the A&K Civilian, and the Step 310 Echo. So that's a wonderful upgrade. Alright, the last upgrade we're going to do is probably the hardest. If you thought any of the upgrades were hard so far, well, this one's even harder. So, we're going to be crossing this bog here once we get over here, and we got to climb this mountain and make our way across over to this upgrade here. And it may not look like much. You'll see why when we get there. It is awful. Like, it is so bad. Oh yeah, I was gonna change to morning. There we go. Now you can see a little better. Alright, so we're basically gonna just retrace our steps for a little bit. Until we get to the point where we get over there. Oh, and I forgot to mention the last upgrade we're going to is a rock crawler suspension kit. It is another fantastic suspension kit. This is the rock crawler kit is great if you want some extra ground clearance, but you don't necessarily want all of the height of the lift kit for balance reasons. I find the rock crawler kit is actually my favorite suspension kit to put on vehicles because it gives you a little extra ride height, and it doesn't seem to make the vehicles noticeably tippier. Whereas I found putting the lift kit on some vehicles just makes them kind of awful to drive because they just get so top heavy. So the rock crawler kit is great because it's a nice middle ground between the lift kit and the standard stock suspensions. So we're just going to be following this little dirt path for a while. And then here's where we're going to veer off to the left. And we're going to go all the way around these rocks. And then from here we're going to go right down into the bog. See, I told you there would be more aqua driving. For those of you that enjoy the aqua driving. So from here, we're basically just going to be island hopping our way across here. We're basically just jumping from dry spot to dry spot. Give us the most traction possible so we can get through here. So from here, we're going to bounce over to this island. Go around this big stick, head over here, and then there's going to be a nice path through the rocks here. And this is where the fun begins. Make sure you have your anchors ready, because you may need them. I'm going to go right up here, right in between that nice gap. Head over to the right side here, cross the shallower gap, and then make our way to the left. Right over here, right in between those rocks. And we're going to head up to the right. We're going to keep climbing. We're not done climbing yet. Up to the left, we're still climbing. And we're just going to bounce right through the middle here. Keep our tires up on that right side. And it keeps us away from the awful branches. We got one more little climb here. Now you may be thinking, I said this was the worst, but that didn't look too bad. Well, the worst is yet to come. Now that we're on top of the mountain, we got to get to the upgrade. And to do that, we're going to go around the corner here. I'm going to follow this path. We are just going to follow this path, and you will see why it is so awful. So we're going to go up to the right side here, and we got to zig and zag through these rocks. As you can see, it is super narrow here, and we're on a sideways angle, and we got to climb over some rocks while we're doing all this. So let's get up here. Get nice and slow because we are at risk of tipping off and falling off this mountain every single second. And there you have it. Yeah, you look at it from back here, that doesn't even look like we should be able to get across that, but we can. And here you have, that is your rock crawler kit suspension for the Loadstar, the Yar, and the Tatra 805. So, well, that was a fun one. These upgrades are, like I said, they're all very strong, super upgrades, great for all your vehicles, but a lot of them are very frustrating to get to, and I hope this makes that so much easier for you guys. So, thank you for watching this guide. Hope it helps. Hope you like it. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.